welcome you to the San Francisco 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys. This place is loud. This is about as loud as we have heard it. AT&T Stadium getting set for the opening kickoff. Tony Romo and the offense will be on the field first. A lot of questions about the Dallas defense, the league's worst a year ago, and a lot of changes for San Francisco's defense because of injury and suspension. Should be fun. Glad you're with us on Fox. Harris will bring it. And Dwayne Harris is going to fight his way to the 20. DeMarcus Dobbs downfield to make the stop, and off we go. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Aaron Andrews, and here comes Tony Romo. Troy, 8 months removed from his second back surgery, and there is a lot on that surgically repaired back.
Well, there sure is, because as you alluded to, the defense has struggled throughout the preseason, coming off a historically bad year a season ago. This offense and Tony Romo is expected to carry this team throughout this season.
Yet they want to run the ball more, and we'll see how they come at the 49ers here to start their day. They're going to start with a 1st and 15.
False start. Offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Terry McCauley is our referee, and the man rewarded with an 8-year contract extension. Started too early. Play action to start the day. Romo's got him in. First down. That's Terrence Williams. And he should get a lot of work today because of the presence of Dez Bryant on the other side.
Play action in the backfield. Terrence Williams, you see he gets into the zone, and Tony Romo with all kinds of time in the pocket. Nobody within 5 yards of him, Joe, and that was one of the concerns coming into this ball game today defensively for San Francisco. They failed to get pressure on the quarterback throughout the preseason.
First chance from Murray, and DeMarco lowers his head, takes it to the 35, ball's out, live play. This is going to be a touchdown, 49ers. It's a scoring play. It's a turnover. They'll look at it. Scuda was right in there, and the guy who's playing in place of the suspended Aldon Smith, Dan Scuda, knocked it out, and they will give that a close look.
A lot of bodies in there as DeMarco Murray was going to the ground. You're right. Scuda gets the left hand in there and is able to yank it out. Joe, it looked to me like the ball was loose before Murray's knee is on the ground. I believe that's a touchdown, San Francisco.
It was returned by Culliver, 35 yards. And the touchdown will stand.
How about that start offensively? They start with a false start on Tyron Smith. The third play of the game, a fumble by DeMarco Murray, and touchdown San Francisco.
And a 7-point lead. Take another look as this ball was ripped out by Scuda before the left knee of DeMarco Murray came down on the turf, and Culliver was there to take it back 35 yards for the touchdown. And this defense, with all those changes, Troy Aikman, ends up with a score here in the opening minute. We welcome you inside our broadcast booth. I'm Joe Buck. That's Troy Aikman. Glad you're with us, and it's been a crazy day already on this first Sunday of the NFL season, and what a start here this afternoon.
Well, you know, opening weekend is always a little bit crazy. We saw that in the early games, and then, you know, how about the start here today with 3 plays in? You got the fumble, DeMarco Murray, and then Culliver returns it for a touchdown. Obviously not a great start for Dallas in an offense that is supposed to be carrying this football team.
So now we look at where these teams are and what they're looking at going into this season. You've got a Dallas team that's coming off 3 straight 8-8 years under head coach Jason Garrett. They've not been to the playoffs in 4 seasons. You've got a 49er team that's had nothing but success under Jim Harbaugh since he came there in 2011. A lot of changes. We'll get through those defensively here in a moment. But a good start for the 49ers. They made it to the NFC Championship game a season ago. And so now, Troy, if the Cowboys can hang their hat on one thing, it's what they have up front. Is for the third time in the last 4 years they drafted an offensive lineman in the first round.
And they've hit on all of those picks, Joe. Tyron Smith signed a 10-year contract this offseason. Last year's first-round pick, Travis Frederick, in the middle. He had an outstanding rookie season. And Zach Martin looks to be the real deal at right guard. This is the first time, Joe, in a number of years that they feel they can block people up front and control the line of scrimmage.
Starting in a hole, 7-0 49ers. After the fumble and the return. A toss to Harris running right. Got to the edge and a 9-yard pickup on first down. Let's go to Kurt Menefee, the game break.
Well, a lot of your audience saw the Atlanta overtime win against New Orleans and missed Buffalo's overtime victory in Chicago. Cole College's own Fred Jackson inside the 1-yard line set up a game winner for Dan Carpenter, 27 yards away. 23-20 Buffalo with the OT win in Chicago. Joe, Troy, and Aaron.
All right, Kurt, thanks. Here it's 2nd down and 1. Throwing on 2nd and 1, and a completion to Dez Bryant. 20 yards and a first down for Dallas. And we'll look at this defense that right now is playing with 3 new starters in their secondary. There's no Navarro Bowman. There's no Aldon Smith. He's suspended. There's no Glenn Dorsey. He's injured. Whitner's gone. Carlos Rogers is gone. Change all over.
Yeah, and really for the first time since Jim Harbaugh took over as head coach, it's been a pretty consistent group on this side of the ball defensively. Not the case this year.
Here's Murray on first down. And a nice lane, but a flag comes in, thrown by the umpire.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Defense number 55. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
So they get Ahmad Brooks for a hands to the face. It's tacked on to the end of a 7-yard run.
Ahmad Brooks, 55. You see he gets a hand up into the helmet area. James Hanna's the one who's trying to block him, and the shoulder pad there is fine. With the way Hanna's head went back, I see where the official might have thought that he had a hold of the face mask, but it looked to me, Joe, that was a poor call.
So a first down at the 39. Quick setup and throw, and out of the reach of Terrence Williams, who gets a shot from Culliver at the end of it. And a flag is down.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Defense number 55. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
They got him again.
Well, I didn't think that there was much there on the previous play. We'll take a look at this one here at the bottom of the screen. This time Doug Free, and this time he does get the right hand, as you see. That was pretty obvious, pretty clear, and that one was a good call.
There were 124 illegal hands to the face calls during the preseason this year. There were 103 all of last season. That's one of the points of emphasis that these officials are looking for, and we've seen it flagged on back-to-back plays as DeMarco Murray carries for 6.
This offensive line on this possession, Joe, is really doing a nice job. They've protected Tony Romo when he's dropped back to throw, but they've opened up some nice lanes for DeMarco Murray also.
Dallas trying to answer after that early fumble by Murray. Second down and 4. Right side, Murray gonna fight, and he's gonna get it. First down, Dallas. First guy there was Ray McDonald. And we'll talk about Ray McDonald and what his week has been about as we get deeper into this game. And that's been the story for DeMarco Murray, Troy. He has been very effective when he's been healthy. He has yet to play a full 16-game schedule.
Well, we visited with him on Friday, and he was sure looking forward to this season. One, because he's in a contract year, but more importantly, because of the emphasis that has been placed throughout the preseason about trying to be more balanced offensively. He expects to get a lot of carries, but he's got to stay on the field.
There's a new play caller here in Dallas. That's Beasley. And a penalty flag where Des Bryant was blocking out on the edge. A loss of 3. And Bryant is pleading his case to no avail.
Well, they run the wide receiver screen. Des Bryant trying to make a block. And
offense number 88. 10-yard penalty. First down.
He felt like he got held by the face mask, which he did, but that's not what was called.
So it's a hold against Des Bryant. Penalties accepted by San Francisco. And it's going to move the ball back out to the 33. Bring up 1st and 20. Des Bryant, last 2 years, has been a big play guy. 27 catches of 25 or more yards. 4th most in the NFL.
Well, he's had probably his best preseason this year, Joe. He was terrific throughout training camp and preseason.
On 1st and 20, a handoff. Here's Murray. Nice pickup. Do you believe, Troy, the Dallas Cowboys, when they say they're going to be more balanced and run the ball more because their personnel just is set up, you would think, to wing it around?
I think that they will because of this offensive line, first and foremost. And they've got to take some pressure off of Tony Romo. They also got to be able to rest that defense. We haven't had a chance yet to see how they're going to fare here today. But I do believe there's going to be more of an emphasis on running the football. They did not anticipate, because of what we've seen from San Francisco in years past, running the ball as well as they have already.
Ahmad Brooks may be guilty of his 3rd infraction.
Neutral zone
they're going to call.
Defense number 55. 5-yard penalty.
Wait a minute now.
2nd down.
The official on that side of the field came in and signaled a false start, but Terry McAulay, and that's what Jim Harbaugh is saying. Terry McAulay said that it was a neutral zone infraction, and so the call is against Ahmad Brooks. And that's what it should be.
Yep. Well, Ahmad Brooks is in a tough series here. First one I didn't think he should have been penalized on the hands to the face, but the last 2 clearly he was at fault.
Now 2nd and 9. It was 1st and 20. Dunbar picking his way. He's got a 1st down.
Well, that's good patience by quarterback Tony Romo, recognizing the coverage down the field. Nobody playing underneath. He checks it down to Dunbar. And the reason he was able to wait on Dunbar after checking protection of his own is because, again, there's just no pass rush whatsoever. Tony has not been made to move off the point at any time when he's dropped back.
This was the 3rd best team offensively inside the red zone a year ago. That's Dunbar this side. Makes a move. Down to the 2. Went around Will Hoyt, who's getting a chance to start in place of the injured Navarro Bowman.
Well, Will Hoyt is trying to squeeze the crossing route that he anticipates that Romo's going to go with the football, and Dunbar swings out, and so they got essentially a horizontal stretch on Will Hoyt and no one there to make a play.
There's Navarro Bowman, who had that gruesome ACL tear in the NFC Championship game in Seattle. He'll miss at least the first 6 games this season.
Dallas has been aided by some penalties, but they've made this look real easy.
Play clock is winding down. And they'll take a timeout.
Dallas, 30-second timeout.
So a timeout before a 2nd and 1 from the 2 for Tony Romo. Wednesday, be prepared for a new breed of fighters. 16 women compete for an historic UFC title. Don't miss the jaw-dropping season premiere of an all-new The Ultimate Fighter. A champion will be crowned Wednesday at 10 Eastern, only on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. So the early turnover, a defensive touchdown for Culliver. And now Dallas has marched it right down the field behind Tony Romo. People think Romo didn't have a good year last year. They're wrong. 31 touchdowns, 10 picks. Threw for over 3,800 yards and had a quarterback rating of over 96. Loud crowd here at home on 2nd and 1. Fake to Murray. Romo sacked. Brought down by Justin Smith.
Well, Des Bryant has been so good that even when he's covered, he's really not, because he's so aggressive at going up for the ball. And that's where Tony Romo wanted to go with the ball. They run play action in the backfield. He's going to take a shot, but because of corner or safety help, able to play him a lot tighter. I'm a little surprised Romo didn't at least give Des a chance, but Justin Smith finally is able to get to him.
Now 3rd and 10. Just got it away. Romo, end zone, incomplete. Looking for Witten. And there are a lot of 49er fans in attendance here and making a ton of noise while the Cowboys are at the line. And after facing a 2nd and 1 from the 2, the sack by Smith and a field goal attempt is coming up.
Yeah, they, as well as the Cowboys move the football on that possession to get down there that close to the goal line and be settling now for a field goal attempt. Very disappointing end to that. Excellent job, Justin Smith, though, changing the tide on that drive with the sack.
Coming off offseason shoulder surgery, here's Bailey, one of the best in the NFL, to put Dallas on the board. But the big play at the end of that drive was turned in by a guy who's been to 5 straight Pro Bowls. Justin Smith, the 35-year-old, makes a big play. 7-3, 49ers on top.
Sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com.
Well, the Cowboys able to move it, not able to get it into the end zone. 4-point game, and Bailey will kick it away. Bruce Ellington, the rookie, waiting for it. 49ers offense hasn't taken the field yet. They're leading 7-3 with less than half of the first quarter left. Jermaine Brock being carted off. Corner for the 49ers. Here come the 49ers on offense. Up 4.
He was sponsored by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly.
Well, what are we going to see from the 49ers offensively? First unit did not score a touchdown during the preseason. Quick setup and throw. Pass is caught. Bolden makes one guy miss and then is thrown to the ground by McClain, a gain of 7. Kaepernick, Troy has got some new weapons on the outside. They're a little deeper at receiver than they have been since he took over.
Yeah, that's for sure. Last year at this time he didn't have much. He had Anquan Bolden and Vernon Davis, and they're pretty deep there at that position right now, although Michael Crabtree's been nursing a calf injury throughout this week.
2nd down and 3. A lot of contact and a flag. Crabtree was working on Claiborne. And it's against Claiborne.
Well, this is certainly something that's being looked at. You see the grab right there.
Automatic first down.
Now that's Morris Claiborne working against Michael Crabtree. Claiborne, he's been battling some injuries of his own. He did not play throughout the preseason. The other corner for the Cowboys, Brandon Carr, he played all of 8 snaps in the last preseason game. So this is a defensive group that has not played much football together either.
Pressure. That's Bolden. Anquan Bolden is inside the 30. And a big play for number 81 of 37 yards.
It's a great job by Colin Kaepernick navigating the pass rush and hanging in there, because he takes a shot at the end of this play. You see the inside pressure by Dallas, and he steps in there knowing he's going to get hit. And you got Anquan Bolden, who does an excellent job off the line of scrimmage. You see the route that he runs against Brandon Carr, and he threads it beautifully.
It was Rolando McClain who hit Kaepernick at the end of it.
Hey, Joe, that's as good a throw as we've seen all preseason from Colin Kaepernick.
Pressure again. Kaepernick is still on his feet. Davis, a juggle and a touchdown.
Kaepernick under pressure once again, and an outstanding job by him keeping this play alive, and a busted coverage by Dallas in the secondary. Vernon Davis, who juggles this one to bring it in, but he runs the wheel route. The corner collapses Brandon Carr. Nobody then runs with Davis up the sidelines, and it's an easy touchdown due to Kaepernick keeping the play alive.
He had 13 a year ago. Vernon Davis now has 54 in his career, and it's 14-3. So much for this is not a quick strike offense for the 49ers. Quick strike, Kaepernick, Vernon Davis. 14-3, 49ers on top.
This game on Fox is sponsored by your next truck, Ford F-150. By the new Samsung Galaxy S5, the next big thing is here. And by Warner Brothers Pictures, This Is Where I Leave You, in theaters September 19th.
First chance out there on the field. Good start for the 49ers offensively. Forget the preseason. We fall into that trap every year. Colin Kaepernick 3 for 3, 73 yards, a touchdown, and he picked apart this secondary, and teams did that all of last year against Dallas. Harris is waiting for it. The Cowboys down by 11 will start at the 20. So back to work is Tony Romo. Kaepernick kept it alive and found number 85. And the touchdown to make it 14-3. Volunteers to shoot that on our crew. I'll do it. Now just sit this one out there. Nope, I want to do it. We're back to football, T, and back to the same stuff for this Dallas defense, which was terrible a year ago. What he does best, and he finds Witten. That ball is live. Lemonnier back in for the touchdown. Let's take another look. It'll be reviewed because it's a turnover, and on top of it a score. Let's see if his knee's down.
It's going to be close, Joe.
Oh yeah, he's down easily.
Yeah, that's a. I don't know how Romo even got that throw in there and how Jason Witten was even able to make the catch, but his knee is on the ground before the ball comes out.
So instead of the second turnover leading directly to a touchdown, this one should stay with Dallas. How about the years for Jason Witten? 9-time Pro Bowler, his 12th season. He's got 52 career touchdown receptions. And he is putting himself in the conversation for the Hall of Fame. We'll look at this. Don't look at this as we take a break. We'll get the call when we come back.
The pass was complete, and the runner was down by contact at the 27-yard line. It will be 2nd and 3 for Dallas at that spot.
Jason Witten has only 3 career lost fumbles. Last one was back in 2010. So he gets it. He doesn't lose it very often. And I was saying going to break that, he's kind of one of still the old school tight ends before these real athletic basketball types like Jimmy Graham or others came along. And I think you have to look at the overall career of Witten and say he's in the conversation for Canton.
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt that 5 years after he retires, his ticket will be cashed to Canton, Ohio, and he's one of the real pros. He's become essentially the face of this franchise in a lot of ways, and He's been a great player for a long time, and he's still got plenty of gas left in the tank.
Here's Murray on 2nd and 3. He's got a first down. We saw Tremaine Brock get carted off. Let's take you down to Aaron Andrews.
Yeah, no update right now, except 49ers are saying it's a toe injury. He's questionable return. Troy had said, I think off the air, that this was a guy that was dealing with an ankle injury during training camp. They don't obviously think it's related to that. Parrish Cox in for him, guys.
All right, Aaron, so a first chance to start. A full-time guy for Tremaine Brock and Culliver. Parrish Cox is in there. Chris Cook is a game day inactive. They're getting thin out on the edge. Romo, plenty of time, and he's picked. Intercepted. That's the safety. Eric Reed. The interception, and now looking for big things on the return. Witten gets a block, fights through it, slows him down. He is going to be ruled out of bounds around the 1.
Joe, I'll tell you, this is one of those plays that Tony Romo is going to look at, and he's going to kick himself. But he's got a chance at Terrence Williams right here at the post. He's got this guy completely turned around for a touchdown down the middle of the field, and just throws it into essentially triple coverage. Linebackers converge, the zone coverage, but you see how Parrish Cox, the one who just came into the ball game for Tremaine Brock, got completely turned around on Terrence Williams. But Tony just never saw it.
Eric Reed was a Pro Bowler last year in his rookie season. He played all 16 games. He had 4 interceptions. And he's got one here in the season opener, and then for good measure returned it 48 yards to the 2-yard line. Des Bryant went down after that hit, was slow to get up. But now the 49ers have it, a 1st and goal at the 2. Kaepernick keeps it. End zone wide open. Touchdown is 2nd. Vernon Davis.
Well, and why wouldn't it be Vernon Davis, Joe? You think back to last year. Vernon Davis had 13 touchdown receptions on the season. 20 of 21 of Colin Kaepernick's touchdown passes went to either Vernon Davis or Anquan Bolden. You better cover those 2 guys when you get down here in the red zone. And Vernon Davis, he's able to get through the field. It really exposes the defense a little bit, because you got to play the run and you got to try to play the play action. Hard to do, but an easy touchdown for Vernon Davis.
So Dallas with a ton of question marks and the lack of talent defensively. They've turned it over twice. One for a direct score, the other setting up San Francisco at the 2. Here's the pick by Eric Reed. 49ers offense has been on the field for a total of 4 plays, and they lead 21-3. Great start for the San Francisco defense. The offense for the 49ers, as I said, going to break, they've been on the field for 4 plays. You see what the 49ers did off turnovers last season. They've got 14 points off the 2 takeaways here in this one already. 49ers, Troy, have had the ball for a minute and a half, 1:34 seconds, and they're up by 18 points as Dallas will get it back again. Dawson kicks it away. Harris will have it go out of his arms and out of the back of the end zone.
We'll go back and take a look at that interception, Joe, and you're reading this guy right here, the deep safety who can take the deep post away. That's your first read. He converges on Des Bryant. He levels off, and that gives you the shot down the field for the touchdown. Had Romo have seen it correctly, but instead he's trying to get it to Des Bryant. And Eric Reed, because of the zone coverage, he comes into the picture and Romo doesn't see him, and that's a big hit for a guy who's been dealing with some nagging injuries, a back injury last year. And Des trying to fire his troops up, but that was an easy one for San Francisco.
Here's Murray. He's put the ball on the ground once when he's been able to hang on to the ball. He's been pretty good with room to run. He gets 6 on 1st down.
Well, you look at this game right now, Joe, and with San Francisco leading 21-3, I know the Cowboys came in wanting to be balanced, but because of how good San Francisco's been defensively against the run, kind of anticipated not having much success, but instead Murray's been averaging about 5 yards a carry. They've been able to do essentially what they want. but this game's starting to get away from them a little bit if they don't do something on this possession to where maybe then in the second half they're forced to throw it more than they'd like.
Empty backfield. Romo steps up, comes to the sideline, and what a catch by Terrence Williams. He's got a first down, and that was a terrific grab in front of Culliver. And Terrence Williams good for 9 yards and a first down.
Yeah, and I like this young man here. Terrence Williams is really just one of those hard-working young guys. He shows up each day to try to get better and does a lot of the dirty work. He runs good routes. He's not exceptionally fast, but he can get down the field. And he does like to block as well, and they'll utilize him within the run game, within the line of scrimmage.
Got nicked up during the week, dealt with a back injury on Thursday, but he's obviously fine. Here's Murray left side. And DeMarco cuts upfield and has a nice run on first down, gets another. A carry of 15 yards, and we go to Joel Klatt with a game break.
All right, Joe, not quite the fireworks that you've had in your game, but Derek Anderson starting for the injured Cam Newton finds Greg Olsen, and Carolina with an early lead, 7-0 over Tampa Bay. Joe, Troy, and Aaron.
Joel, thanks. First down here for Dallas. The ball on San Francisco's side of midfield. Delayed handoff. Murray. So far, this good young offensive line has been able to move people out of the way. A gain of 6.
There's a look at Scott Linehan, and when he was hired and told that, hey, we want you to bring a little balance to the offense, it was somewhat of a strange hire, to be quite honest. That when he was at Detroit working with Matthew Stafford, they threw the ball as much or more than anybody in football. In fact, in 2011 and 2012, they did throw the ball more than anyone. But he has been committed throughout preseason. He's been committed here in this ball game, getting the ball to DeMarco Murray, and they're having success.
Romo, Dunbar, needs to make a man miss, and Scuda does not. Getting a chance to start. He forced a fumble early, and again playing in place of the suspended Aldon Smith, out for the first 9 games.
You know, Scott Linehan was the offensive coordinator in Miami back in 2005, and Jason Garrett was freshly retired from the New York Giants and looking for a coaching job, and Scott Linehan hired him, and that was the start. And so Jason Garrett returned the favor this offseason, and now he's calling the plays.
On third down and 3, Romo's got Beasley, and a nice catch for a first down. Had to reach, and little Cole Beasley, who comes in at 5'8", 180, a free agent out of SMU, good for 6.
And he used all 5'8", too, to get out and catch this ball. That's a nice job along the sideline of him being able to bring that one in. And, you know, he's a young player in this league that I expect to have a good season. Justin Smith, he drove Ron Leary right back into Romo. But Cole Beasley, now in his 3rd season, you know, he's one of those guys that can play the slot position, and he's so quick. Does an excellent job of creating separation.
Back to the ground, it's Murray. He's averaging over 6.5 yards a carry here in the first quarter. He gets 6 again.
Yeah, and it's not like he's had just an extremely long run. You know, I mean, he's been rattling off that kind of yardage just about every time he's had it.
Now Culliver's out.
Well, they're pretty thin back on the back end there for San Francisco now, with Tremaine Brock already down.
They'll have to sit out at least one play, and they hope that it's nothing serious. So, as Troy said, Brock is out. Culliver is going to be helped off here momentarily as he gets attention down on the field with 18 seconds left in what has been an eventful first quarter. Early fumble, 3rd play from scrimmage. Murray put it on the ground. Scuda forced it. Culliver returned it for a touchdown. And Vernon Davis, a juggle, a catch, 14-3. Romo throws a pick. Eric Reed on the other end returned it 48 yards to the 2. And Vernon Davis, with his 7th career multiple touchdown game during the regular season, makes it 21-3.
Yeah, this game, it should be closer than it is, because Dallas has moved the ball, and they're moving it again here on this possession. It's been the 2 turnovers that you talked about, and then the nice play by Justin Smith that kept Dallas from scoring a touchdown and having to settle for a field goal. But this game really has been a little bit more balanced than what you would think if you just turned it on and saw the score.
So it'll be 2nd down and 4. The injury stopped the clock, and so a long look at Chris Culliver, who is a 3rd-year pro out of South Carolina. At least able to sit up, but he gets the attention. Meanwhile, Ray McDonald is playing in this game. He wears number 91. He was arrested last Sunday on suspicion of felony domestic violence after police discovered visible injuries on his pregnant fiance. The 49ers are allowing him to play until the legal process plays out more before they decide. He's been arrested, not been charged. His hearing is September 15th. He was arrested 3 days after Roger Goodell announced a more defined severe punishment for that type of crime, domestic violence. And if it's shown that he's guilty and did it, he faces a severe penalty. Right now the 49ers are saying we're going to let this play out. And while that continues, he will play for San Francisco. Here's Murray right side, and he's able to peek through for a 1st down, and that's the way the 1st quarter will come to a close. The 49ers offense was on the field for 94 seconds in the 1st quarter, yet they lead this game 21-3. Back after this from your local Fox station. It's kind of hard to believe for the 49ers, first time scoring 21 or more points in the 1st quarter since December of '95 against the Vikings. Jim Harbaugh in his 4th opener as head coach for San Francisco. He's not only 3-0, but his team scored 30 or more in all 3 season openers dating back to 2011. On 1st down, it's Murray. And one of the few times the 49ers have been able to stop him as Ian Williams makes the tackle. We go back and look at the injury to Culliver, who has his head down on that tackle with DeMarco Murray. And if they were thin when they lost Tremaine Brock, they're really thin out on the edge in this secondary now for San Francisco.
Yeah, they're hurt. Now they're going with the rookie, the 4th-round pick, Dante Johnson, and you hope that Chris Culliver is okay. But that's the kind of hit that you see. You know, when you put your head down like that, that's what the league has completely stressed in terms of trying to keep your head up when you see what you tackle.
Here's Murray, gets to the edge. Nice fill by Parrish Cox. He made the stop, a gain of 4, 3rd down and relatively short coming up.
Well, it's been a long time since we've seen Dallas be able to hand the ball off on 2nd down, 2nd and long, and be able to pick up those kinds of yards and make it a pretty manageable 3rd down here. This offensive line, Joe, we talked about it early on about the 1st-round picks and how much better they are than they've been. They have proved it here in this 1st half.
3rd youngest starting offensive line in the NFL. Extra men on the rush. Pass caught. Beasley makes a move. 1st down. Out of bounds near the 5. "13 yards after going around Eric Reed."
Hey, see how quick he is just coming out of the break, and you get the ball into his hands quickly and allow him to try to make a move. And there's a bad angle there by Reed, and Cole's able to pick up some extra yardage, but a big 3rd down conversion for Dallas.
Former high school quarterback is Cole Beasley, one of those shifty slot receivers, and he's good for a 1st down.
Yeah, a guy who walked away from the game back when he was a rookie in training camp and gave retirement some consideration. He took a couple days off and came back, and he's been a key contributor to this offense.
Fake it to Murray. Looked like Harris was open. Romo didn't see him, and this one picked off again. Patrick Willis. And the Cowboys continue to shoot themselves in the foot. Boy, it looked like he had Dwayne Harris.
Yeah, you saw what I saw, Joe. Dwayne Harris comes off the ball. It's off of the play action. You got to drive it in there quickly. He doesn't, but then he just makes another poor decision on the throw.
Interception, Willis. 49ers take over, up to 18.
Game on Fox is sponsored by Chevrolet. Find new roads. By by AT&T, mobilizing your world. And by the new crime thriller, The Drop, starring Tom Hardy and James Gandolfini, in theaters Friday.
Cowboys offense coming off their third turnover of the game. The first two led to San Francisco touchdowns, and this last one prevents a Cowboys touchdown. Romo over to talk with Scott Linehan as he has thrown 2 picks to Marco Murray, a fumble. Bigger bodies on the left side of the offensive line. First time Gore. Frank Gore out across the 40. 21 yards to start his day. The 31-year-old running back, #1 all time on the 49ers career rushing list.
Take a look at that interception by Romo. Dwayne Harris is going to come in here on the quick slant, and they sell the play action fake. You get everybody to come up. You got a shot in there. You got to get in there quickly, but that's what you can't do, and just lob one up late with all the bodies then converging on the football. It's a poor decision, but what a heck of a way to start this drive for Frank Gore.
Kaepernick keeps it. Got around Carter out on the edge and turned it into a positive play, gain of 2.
This is the thing that really had defensive coordinator Rod Marinelli the most concerned, was the ability of Colin Kaepernick to make plays not only on the read option but also from within the pocket. But what I like there, Joe, is you see where Colin Kaepernick went to the ground and he avoids taking the hit, and that's one thing that Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator, have done a good job of in preaching to him, is get on the ground and don't take any of the unnecessary hits, which he does a great job of.
2nd down and 8. Kaepernick has to pull it down and now just throws it up and away. And pressure on the play. Mincy was in there, and he wasn't alone. So rare pressure by this Dallas defensive front.
I tell you, we haven't seen much of San Francisco offensively because of the turnovers and the way this game's played out. But here in this first half, Joe, Dallas has dominated the trenches on both sides of the ball. Cowboys offensive line has dominated it, and defensively they've gotten far more pressure on Colin Kaepernick than I anticipated coming into this game.
That was Henry Melton in there with Mincy. Melton, his first action since last September was Chicago. 3rd down and 8. Kaepernick has got Bolden. He's got a first down. Wide open in the middle of the field, good for 12 yards.
Like Justin Durant may have slipped when he was trying to drive on that. The Cowboys are best when they're playing man coverage. And they are afraid to play man coverage in this game. They don't want to run much of it because, again, the concern of Colin Kaepernick running the football and Anquan Bolden able to get in the zone and pick up the first down.
Bolden led the NFL in 3rd down receptions last year. That was one. Here's Gore. And Gore runs into Davon Coleman. This is a Dallas defense, Troy, that allowed a league-high 415 yards a game, 3rd worst in NFL history last year. An opponent quarterback rating of 96. Allowed 2 600-plus total yardage days, and they don't have Ware, they don't have Hatcher, they don't have Scandrick. They don't have much.
No, they thought they lost their 4 best players from that bad defense last year, and many people thought they would be worse this year. I know San Francisco struggled in the preseason, but for the most part, this defense held up better than I imagined.
Pass caught. That's Vernon Davis. Short of a first down by about 1.5 yards. Rolando McClain, who's a guy that the Cowboys traded for from the Ravens. He was a number 8 overall pick by Oakland back in 2010. He retired twice last year, but they're hoping that they found a guy to man the middle if they can get him straight. 3rd down and 1. Kaepernick keeps it. First down. Kaepernick slides inside the 30. A flag is down.
Holding, offense number 85. 10-yard penalty, third down.
That's Vernon Davis, the tight end, out there on the edge.
We'll take a look and see what Vernon Davis did. Tyrone Crawford, he's the one who collapses, and they have no contain. And as soon as Wilcox tries to get away, then Vernon Davis grabs a hold of the jersey, so he wouldn't have had any impact on that play. But it gets called back. But Colin Kaepernick, he's able to get his legs going a little bit now. This is, other than that penalty there, the 49ers are moving the ball a little bit.
Third down and 8. Kaepernick has Crabtree, and the Dallas natives got a first down inside the 35. Got 70 tickets in this game for family and friends, and that's got Rod Marinelli upset. Another third down conversion.
Well, Kaepernick really had his pick as to where he wanted to go with the football. You know, I talked about it. The Cowboys just, they don't play zone coverage that well as far as understanding, you know, where they're supposed to drop into those zones, and that's why they're better as a man coverage team. But that time they pretty much left everybody open.
Only one incompletion so far for Kaepernick. He keeps it, could flip it. He does. That's James. And nothing out there. Well played by the Dallas defense. Brandon Carr out there. Barry Church was in there to help stop that play as well.
Yeah, they do a good job, Dallas does, at least stringing it out. And that's how you want to play. You try to get him to the sideline. There was really nothing there for Colin Kaepernick to do. So, you know, we didn't see a lot of this read option stuff last year with Colin Kaepernick. Of course, they talk about the foot injury that he had throughout the season that he kept quiet. But the other thing was they just didn't want to see him take a lot of hits. But they have. We've seen it a few times now here in this first half.
Play action. Kaepernick is in trouble. Carter's got it. And a sack for the Dallas defense.
See, Mike Upati comes out. They've got enough blockers. Colin Kaepernick's expecting it to be blocked up, but they both go to the same guy, and they free up Bruce Carter. Bruce Carter, who was in coverage on Frank Gore, and when Frank Gore stayed in then to block, it freed him up, and neither Gore or Upati came off with the blitzing defender to pick it up.
A loss of 9 on the sack that drives San Francisco at the moment out of field goal range. Kaepernick steps up. Penalty flag on the play as Kaepernick gets hit by Moore, and he's knocked down short of first down yardage. It's another hold against the 49ers.
Holding, offense number 74. 10-yard penalty, third down.
Three-time Pro Bowler Joe Staley guilty of the hold. That erases a 16-yard run by Kaepernick.
And Kaepernick, you know, he's just trying to get as much yardage as he can to get the team in position to have a field goal attempt. So that time he lowers his shoulder and took the hit, but it comes back. This has been a good drive by San Francisco, but the penalties, it's just been the unraveling.
Gore is back in the huddle. They've had Carlos Hyde out there on third down, the rookie running back out of Ohio State. They're obviously not worried about his blocking. On third down. Now third and 30. Only 3 men on the rush. Pass caught by Crabtree. Gets blocking in front. Crabtree hit from behind, able to hang on. And they're going to mark him inches inside the 40. Nick Hayden made the play.
Oh, but I like the design by offensive coordinator Greg Roman. That's where Kaepernick was going with the football the entire time. They run the other receivers down the field to try to block, and the idea was not so much to try to pick up a first down as much as it was maybe they could get into a position in trying to attempt a field goal.
This is what the punt team looks like. Four-time All-Pro Andy Lee. Nose of the football down. Harris will let it go over his head. And it's going to check up around the 1. Jimmy Ward down there to tap it and receive it. Good punt by Lee. Cowboys have it down 18. This season, we're going to highlight the great players in these franchises we get to cover weekend after weekend. We look at Hall of Famer Larry Allen, born in L.A. A gigantic guard, played all but 2 of his 14 seasons right here in Dallas. 11-time Pro Bowler, whether he was blocking for Emmett or blocking for you. He was special. When did you know he was different?
Well, probably the first time we put pads on, Joe. He just did things at this level that you just don't see. I mean, he would knock people completely off the football.
Movement by Ron Leary.
False start. Offense, number 65. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
That'll bring it back to the half-yard line.
You know, Larry was probably the most shy football player that I ever played with, and he wasn't always a great interview, but I'll tell you, it didn't much matter. He did his talking on the field.
5.5 to go first half. Cowboys down 18. Up to say the least. Pass caught. Des Bryant trying for some breathing room, and he's got it out to the 6. Antoine Bethea, who has started all 16 games the last 6 years for Indianapolis. First year with San Francisco, trying to fill the gap left by the departure of Dante Whitner, one of the real good safeties in the NFL who went to Cleveland.
Yeah, he's probably not the hitter that Whitner was, but considering how young this secondary is, to bring in a guy like him who's played a lot of football in this league, I mean, he brings a veteran stabilizing presence to that group.
2nd down and 5. Hand off to Murray. He's out to the 10. 3rd down and a little more than a yard coming up.
Yeah, they're so thin right now, as we talked about there in the secondary, and you know the Cowboys they've had success offensively. They've been able to run the ball, and they've had time for the most part for Tony Romo to make throws, and you know it's these turnovers that they've had that have been the difference in this ball game. But I would have to believe that offensively, you know, Romo and the rest of this group, along with Scott Linehan, feels good about what they're capable of doing.
Got 180 yards of offense so far, as Romo is going to use a timeout. They're left with 1. This has been for San Francisco a top 5 defense every year since Harbaugh and Fangio took over. 3rd and 1 when we come back.
This game is sponsored by Pizza Hut's Bacon and Cheese Stuffed Crust.
Obviously an important 3rd down for the Dallas Cowboys here. 3rd and 1, down 18 with just over 4 to go in the opening half. High formation behind Romo with a fullback Klutz in front of Murray. And Murray is going to dive, depends on where they spot it. And they're going to give him a first down. Murray forced his way to the first down on that 3rd and 1 carry.
They sure did. They had a chance, 49ers did, to get Murray in the backfield. They got penetration. Couldn't tell exactly who that was. Thought it was Ahmad Brooks. Sure enough, it was. He has a chance at him right there. If he makes that play, then the Cowboys are punting. But Murray, an excellent job breaking that tackle, getting past Reed, and then diving for the first down.
Time is a bit of an issue for Dallas. Down 18, only 1 timeout left. Just outside their 11. Romo can air it out. Throw is intercepted. Parrish Cox. And it's the 3rd pick of the first half for Tony Romo.
Well, Parrish Cox, there's nobody holding the corner on the backside. Romo's late on the throw. He's just not seeing the field very well here today, Joe. You're going to see they're going to try to take a shot. They want to do play action. It's not there. He comes back and thinks that he's going to give one to Des Bryant, but Cox comes back into the fold and makes a play on the ball.
Cox, playing in place of the injured Brock, comes up with a pick for the 49ers. The Cowboys have had the ball 5 times. They've turned it over 4 times with interceptions on 3 straight possessions. Parrish Cox got the last one. On first down, Kaepernick too far for the fullback Bruce Miller. We go back to the interception.
You're going to see Parrish Cox. He's the one right here that you've got to be aware of when you're trying to throw that deep post as to who can take the throw away. He does an excellent job. Once Witten runs across the field, it frees him up then to play the deep post by Des Bryant. Now, he was kind of out of position as far as where his body was. He makes an outstanding play on the ball. I was talking about Des Bryant earlier. Even when he's covered, sometimes he's not because he's so good at being able to go up and make a play on the ball. Cox does an excellent job coming down with that one.
His second career interception, first with San Francisco. Now on second down, pass caught Bolden. And if you want a tough catch by a tough receiver in a tough spot, Anquan Bolden is the guy still in the NFL.
I tell you, he is as tough as they come. I don't care what position you're referring to. This guy shows up each day, not just each Sunday, every day during the week. They marvel at the catches that he makes during practice, but also the way that he practices. He sets the tone and the tempo for this entire team.
That one good for 11 yards. First down with 3 to play, first half.
Black Chicago cross! Black Chicago cross! Move it!
That's Gore. Nice play. That was McClain. And Rolando McClain, that had to feel good, getting his first real game for the Dallas Cowboys.
That was an excellent job by Rolando McClain.
Ever think if you were in charge, the world would be a better place? Well, this September, Fox is giving 15 people the chance to prove it by building their ideal society from scratch. It's a great new show. It's called Utopia. Witness the birth of a brave new world tonight at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on Fox. James in the backfield with Kaepernick. He gets it. Shakes one tackle. He got around Claiborne, but has nowhere to go. Third and long coming up.
This defense is playing hard, aren't they?
They have done as much as they can, but the Cowboys, trail by 18 to the 49ers. 2-minute warning. Today's game on Fox is sponsored by iTunes. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. Third down and 8. 3 straight interceptions thrown by Tony Romo. Coming off back surgery. The rust is showing. Kaepernick out of the shotgun. Pass is caught wide open. That's the new guy, Stevie Johnson. He makes a move and he takes it down to the 30-yard line, and he was absolutely left all alone.
Yeah, the 49ers, they go trips with the bunch set right here, and you're going to see it unfold that when they then disperse and they get to their areas, how it opens up right there for an easy throwing lane for Colin Kaepernick. Well designed, but once again, just going back to the fact that the Cowboys, they struggle in zone coverage, and oftentimes they leave zones completely void.
Stevie Johnson was picked up from Buffalo for a 4th-round pick, adding to the depth on the outside for the 49ers. Here's Gore, and he's down inside the 25. San Francisco with all 3 of their timeouts left. Matt Ryan in that come-from-behind victory for the Falcons. There's his day. Jake Locker for Tennessee. They got to win, and Cordero Patterson. We get a chance, we'll talk more about him and about the Vikings, who just took apart the St. Louis Rams earlier today. This one's tipped and still caught by Anquan Bolden. And he's got a first down at the 17 as the 49ers take their first timeout. Why don't we talk Minnesota? We don't get a chance to talk about other teams as we go through games like this, but we do here as the 49ers will talk about it. Minnesota, they've got your former offensive coordinator, Norv Turner, there. They look good offensively. They look great defensively today.
You know, they played well, Joe, throughout the preseason. They got Mike Zimmer as their head coach. He was a defensive coordinator in Cincinnati last year, did a great job the last several years. He's going to have that defense playing well, and they played well again today. And then offensively, you know, Adrian Peterson was excited without even having played in the preseason. He was excited as he has been at any time going into a year because he knows they're going to open it up a little bit with the passing game. And Cordero Patterson, I think he's going to have a monster year. He sure did today.
Yeah, good start for Patterson. Matt Castle, their quarterback. Here's the rookie Hyde. Now you know why they like him. First and goal from the 4 as Carlos Hyde, a star at Ohio State, hit the hole hard and picks up 13.
Tell you what, I couldn't tell who that was on the back end trying to make a tackle, but he got steamrolled by the rookie. A good hole right in the middle of that offensive line. Does an outstanding job.
Let's find out what's coming up at halftime from Kurt.
Coming up on the Visa Halftime, we'll get you all caught up on today's thrillers, including Big Ben and the Steelers, E.J. Manuel and the Bills go down to the wire and overtime, and Matt Ryan had a career day in OT against the Saints.
Hey, Kurt, what about me?
All that and TV on the Visa Halftime.
TV and tennis shoes under that desk. One timeout left for the 49ers. A first and goal from the 4. As you can see, the run by Hyde.
Well, right at the end of it, you see it's Barry Church who tries to make a tackle. This is a big man, and he had a heck of a preseason, and they're excited about his future.
Hyde again. Welcome to the NFL. Touchdown. The heir apparent to Frank Gore. Back-to-back runs and a 4-yard touchdown. First in what should be a promising NFL career for number 28.
You see what that read option then does to the defensive end. He can't collapse on Hyde like you'd want to, so he's got to play it soft. He's got to play the quarterback. Barry Church, once again, trying to be the guy to stop him from scoring. It's a great job by San Francisco of taking the ball before the end of this half and coming away with a touchdown.
Hyde is a big body back, something the 49ers haven't had behind Frank Gore in years past. And they're going to manage Frank Gore better now as he's 31 years old. Hyde is 6 feet 235. And a guy who had over 3,100 career yards at Ohio State and 37 touchdowns has his first here today. There are still big games to come. Week 1 action continues tonight at 8:30 on NBC, and tune in tomorrow for a Monday Night Football doubleheader.
You look at this first half, Joe, on how this has unfolded. Certainly the turnovers defensively for Dallas. Yeah, San Francisco has moved the ball. They haven't had the ball a lot. They've had success, but that was anticipated. Coming in, it was the Cowboys offense that was supposed to try to help carry this team, and you know, they've let this defense down.
4 turnovers, 3 straight interceptions by Romo. People will talk about Tony coming off the back surgery, his second. He was limited in practice, didn't practice consecutive days really until this week when he went 3 in a row, and that's been getting better and better, but very limited action in the preseason. And as you said earlier, he just doesn't seem to be seeing the field all that well.
No, he doesn't. And you know, when you're not playing in games, it's hard to get a feel for it all just in practice as a quarterback. Hard for any of these players.
Harris going to take it out. Hoping for a quick strike, but that's not going to happen. 35 seconds left in the half. How about the turnovers? It was early. 3rd play from scrimmage. Murray. Scuda forced it. Culliver took it for a touchdown, and then Romo threw one to Eric Reed at a 48-yard return that set him up at the 2. Then it was Willis in the end zone, and most recently Parrish Cox. And a frustrating day for this Cowboys offense in some regard. They've shown that they can.
5 yards added to the end of the.
They were offside on the kickoff. The 49ers were.
5-yard penalty, re-kick.
And they're going to make him re-kick. So they've shown the ability to move the ball. They've shown the ability to open up holes for DeMarco Murray. Romo's had some guys open, but see the passer rating, the interceptions to go along with a fumble by Murray. That just killed them.
Yeah, I mean that's why it's 28-3. I think if you take the turnovers out of this, you know, this could be one heck of a first half. I mean, we could be looking at a shootout here in the first half. I mean, the Cowboys have run the ball exceptionally well. They've protected Tony pretty well in the pocket. It's just the turnovers, and the 49ers have capitalized on that.
Well, that's what the 49ers have shown the ability to do over the years. They're always good in that turnover ratio. 49ers only 44 giveaways under that man Jim Harbaugh since he took over in 2011, by far the fewest in the NFL. And this is a guy, Jim Harbaugh, who in the 3 previous years has taken his team at least to the conference championship game. Nothing but wins and success.
And we don't know if he's going to be around next year.
Here's Harris, and he's going to try it again. The offside leads to this. Takes it out across the 35, and a late flag comes in. Craig Dahl on the tackle.
During the return, holding, receiving team number 53. 10-yard penalty, first down.
It's Cameron Lawrence. So there's Jason Garrett, who is in his 4th full season as head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. 3 straight 8-8 years. Enjoyed 3 straight opportunities in week 17 to win and get into the playoffs. They lost all 3. One to each of their divisional rivals. And the jury is out as to whether Jason Garrett will survive another 500 or less season here in Dallas.
It is interesting that you have to remind yourself that each time at the end of the season they have been playing for the division title.
There's Murray with a nice run out across the 30. The clock continues to wind. Only 1 timeout left for Dallas.
You know, nobody in Dallas is happy with 8-8, but but they have been close in terms of at least getting into the postseason. But this is a roster, at least defensively, that is very challenged, and offensively now they've got their work cut out for them as they go into the second half.
49ers have scored 21 points off turnovers. The Cowboys have handed it over 4 times in this first half. Dominance by the 49ers. We'll send it now to Kurt in LA for the Visa halftime. It is America's game of the week here in Arlington, Texas. Here is our Nissan performance that excites. Stat of the half, 21 points off 4 takeaways for the 49ers. So you can look at that first half as we welcome you inside our broadcast booth a couple of different ways. First of all, the 49ers know how to win, and they took advantage of the opportunities and the chances for takeaways. And for Dallas, what couldn't happen happened, and that's their offense turning the ball over.
Yeah, I think if you look at the score, I think there were some people that maybe thought that could be what the score would be here at halftime, but not the way that it happened. I mean, offensively, for them to turn the ball over the way that they have, and as you said, the 49ers have certainly capitalized on that. But having said that, Joe, we've seen this before from Dallas. Last year, Romo did not play well in the first half, a lot of turnovers, got down by a lot to the Giants. They came back with a chance to win. I would expect Romo to play much better in this second half and get this team back into a position to at least try to make a run at it.
49ers will start this second half with the football as Bailey kicks it away, and the 49ers will start at the 20. And before we get a play from scrimmage down to the field, here's Aaron Andrews.
I talked to Jason Garrett heading into the locker room, asked what he would attribute Tony Romo's interceptions to. He said it's not the back. He said, look, San Francisco's a good defense, but he said with each one of those interceptions, he thinks it's a different thing. Maybe not seeing the field very well, forcing a throw here and there. But he said the good news, we are doing some good things on this offense. We just need to eliminate these mistakes. Guys, the hits do keep coming for San Francisco's defense, though. Chris Culliver is out with a concussion. Still no word on Tremaine Brock.
Aaron, thanks. So Brock is out. Culliver is out. The 2 starting corners. And they are very thin in the secondary for San Francisco. This is tipped. This ball is incomplete as Bruce Carter got his hand up and knocked it into the air. 2nd and 10 coming up.
Yeah, and I think knowing that offensively for the 49ers, knowing how beat up this defense is and that the Cowboys, outside of the turnovers, have moved the ball, is some importance now for them to be able to protect the football, get first downs, try to keep their defense off the field as much as possible.
There's a day for Vernon Davis, 2 touchdowns with his 3 catches. Here's Gore, tripped up. Back to the line of scrimmage. That's it. 3rd and 10 coming up. Take a look at Alex Boone, who reported this past Monday after a contract holdout. He's got raw power, size. He's also the backup tackle. And a guy who has played all 38 games over the last 2 years, splitting time with Joe Looney here today.
I would have thought he would have played by now, Joe. He has yet to take a snap.
That was the plan coming in, at least what we were told. Kaepernick over the middle. Pass is off the chest of Vernon Davis, incomplete. Kaepernick had him, and that ball got in on Vernon Davis a little quicker than he expected.
It was a good job, though, by Colin Kaepernick of going through his progression. Initially, he wanted to throw the ball underneath, and he saw the coverage very well. He comes back inside and actually delivered a pretty good football. But Barry Church, he drives on it. Vernon Davis, on the other hand, is waiting for it, and so it falls incomplete. But a good defensive stop and forcing a 3-and-out to open up the second half by Dallas.
Lee will punt it. Dwayne Harris waits for it. And it's a beauty. 49ers have come to expect that. This one is muffed, and Harris just happy to get on top of it. So now the Dallas offense, after 4 turnovers in the first half, back to the field. 3 of them on interceptions by Tony Romo on 3 consecutive drives, and then the half.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what Scott Linehan does as the play caller. If he sticks to the game plan like he was, the way he was calling the game there to open up this game and there in the first half, or do you start to panic a little bit and feel like you've got to throw it a little bit more? Clearly, plenty of time. They don't have to abandon anything that they came into the game wanting to do.
So they started with Murray, and Murray is closing in on a 100-yard day. He picks up 4, maybe 4.5 for the 49ers coming in. They've gone 17 straight games without allowing a 100-yard rusher, and DeMarco Murray is knocking on that door.
Yeah, I was going to say, Joe, I mean, this defense, they're not used to people running the football on them the way that the Cowboys, have here in this game. Last year, 4th best in all of football against the run. They've been good for a number of years.
They stick with Murray. Ray McDonald lost his helmet. Murray's got 100 yards, but a 3rd down coming up. 8th career 100-yard day for number 29.
Well, he's a tough, hard-nosed runner, and Ray McDonald does an excellent job playing through the block and not giving up any ground without a helmet.
Movement by the tight end Witten.
False start. Offense. Number 82. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Jason Witten has been, for the most part, shut down today. 1 catch, 7 yards. That's all. And Gavin Escobar, who last year was a 2nd-round pick, has not been a factor yet either.
Well, that's against a depleted secondary, too. I would expect that to change here in the second half, but they really have not yet been able to take advantage of the depleted group for the 49ers.
3rd down and 9. Romo throws. He's got Williams. Ball's out. Incomplete, and it was well played by the rookie Dante Johnson. So they're down to the rookie Dante Johnson, and he closed on it and knocked it away from Terrence Williams.
They're trying to get as much out of that route as they could. It was going to be close as to whether or not he picks up the 1st down. He's right there where the sticks were, but you see he drives back. An excellent job by Dante Johnson. You can tell he's probably just a little bit nervous out there in his first game, but he's held up and he's made some plays.
4th-round pick out of North Carolina State. So 3-and-out on the other side as Jones punts it away. Fair catch called for and hauled in by the rookie Bruce Ellington. And so that means the 49ers have it for the 2nd time this second half. But there is a late flag before we go to break.
During the kick, holding, receiving team number 54. 10-yard penalty, 1st down, timeout.
Well, there you go. Terry McCauley tells you, timeout, take a break. 49ers have it. Up 25.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. by Microsoft Surface, the official tablet of the NFL. By DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. And by Nissan. Innovation that excites.
Welcome back to Arlington, Texas, as the 49ers have it, starting inside their 10 by inches, up 28-3. The rookie Hyde in the backfield. He gets it, and he's got some room. Brandon Carr makes the stop, a gain of 6. Before the game, had a chance to shake the hand of and catch up with Michael Sam, who was the co-defensive player of the year in the Southeastern Conference last year. Playing for Missouri, 7th-round pick by the Rams. Had a good preseason, had 3 sacks, 11 tackles, and was cut at cutdown day and added to the practice squad here with the Dallas Cowboys as they look for reinforcements on their defensive line. A defensive line that's played okay here in this opener. 2nd and 4. Hand off to Gore. A lot of dancing, not much running. And Gore back to the line of scrimmage. Durant made the play.
The Cowboys defensively have done okay. You know, and the linebackers in particular, that was a real concern coming into this season, was all the shuffling and the movement of the linebacking core. And Rolando McClain, he played awfully well there in that first half. Made some plays, and then on that last play, Justin Durant steps in. So another big 3rd down here for this Cowboys defense.
Having to take a timeout, confused by what they were looking at. Talked about Frank Gore. You see him there. Gore is the 10th-year player out of Miami, a guy who tore both ACLs in his time in college. And Troy, I think he's going to be one of those guys that when he's gone, 49er fans and maybe even the 49ers will realize all that they had, because he does everything, including blocking brilliantly for whatever quarterback he's played with.
Well, I believe in the organization. Jim Harbaugh, Greg Roman, Trent Baalke. I think everybody knows how valuable this young man is. But, you know, it just seems like when you're someone who just goes about your business and is unselfish, I think he's one of the most unselfish players in all of football, and as tough as they come as well. And when you just go about your business and don't, you know, draw a lot of attention to yourself, people tend to overlook you. And he has been an underappreciated guy, I believe, around the league.
On 3rd down and 4, Kaepernick throws, and the pass caught by Bolden. He survives 2 hits, hangs on. Claiborne and Wilcox, 1st down.
And Anquan Bolden, I mean, you get the impression all the years when you watch him that, you know, he likes getting hit like this. He likes the tough catches. He likes being challenged. The simple curl route off the ball. He knows he's going to get hit. He's going to take one in the helmet. And he hangs in there and he makes the play.
Another 3rd down catch for a 1st down for Bolden. And there's his day.
Yeah, you know, we talked about how he contributed last year and was basically the only receiver they had. You know, that's kind of been the case here this afternoon once again.
Blitz off the edge. Kaepernick steps up, has a man. The pass incomplete, and the flag is thrown. That's Brandon Lloyd, who was out of football last year. Incomplete.
Holding defense number 54. 5-yard penalty. Automatic 1st down.
But a hold on Bruce Carter.
A lot of times these young running backs come into the league and you really worry about how they're going to do in pass protection. Carlos Hyde, he holds up pretty well, hangs in there, and he sees the blitzing defensive back. In fact, in visiting with Greg Roman, I said, is there any situation where you're reluctant to put Carlos Hyde in the lineup? And he said, not one. And usually it's either around the goal line, they worry about fumbling, and when you're throwing the football in pass protection.
Here's Gore. Looney loses his helmet. Gore pushes the pile and picks up 4. So Boone held out throughout all of camp, missed the entire preseason, and he has now the opportunity to make at least $6 million over the next 2 years as opposed to the 3.2, and he is one of the real good guards in the NFL.
He's outstanding. He's tough. He brings a nastiness to this team. And I asked him if he was ready to come in and play right now without any practice, and he said, hey, you either got it or you don't. And so I think he meant that he's got it.
See, Gore now over 10,000 rushing yards in his career, all with San Francisco, and he ran into a wall right here. A gain of just 1. Third down and 5 coming up as Coleman and Bishop, 2 young defensive linemen, combined to make the stop.
Well, this has been a down where San Francisco has been really good here in this game. Cowboys have had a hard time getting off the field on third down, and Colin Kaepernick, with all of the concerns that there were coming into this ball game because of how he had struggled in preseason, I think he's played exceptionally well.
He's been looking for Bolden on this down. Now he's got Johnson. And Stevie Johnson's got a first down. They say Stevie Johnson is an unorthodox route runner, and it's taken time to get the chemistry. But he's another weapon that these 49ers have added for 2014.
Well, Colin Kaepernick, he knows he's got the slant on the backside, so he starts looking to his front side, hold any underneath coverage that may try to get underneath this route. And a really nice job by Stevie Johnson. You're right. They've had a tough time connecting, and sometimes that just happens. It doesn't always come together the way that it did for Anquan Bolden and Kaepernick a year ago.
Here is a pass in the direction of Vernon Davis. Incomplete, 2nd and 10.
It looked like they had different thoughts on what exactly was being run there, but they did get the one-on-one look they were hoping for.
Colin Kaepernick making his 24th career regular season start. He's 17-6. Took over week 11 in 2012. Started the Super Bowl that year, Super Bowl 47. When the 49ers got up off the mat and almost came back and won that game. Blitz. Kaepernick is protected. Now he gets hit. Pass is intercepted. Ball comes out. Flag is down on the play, and the 49ers are back on top of it. About 6 things happened on that play. But a flag is down at the 41. The interception, then the fumble, and the recovery by Johnson.
There's no foul for illegal contact.
So they're going to pick up the flag. And now the question is, will the knee be down on that pick and the return? Right now, they are saying it's the 49ers football.
The pass was intercepted and then fumbled and recovered by the original offense. By rule, 1st and 10, San Francisco.
So it's a change of possession. Jim Harbaugh saying, what about the penalty? They picked up the flag, and let's take a look at this interception.
First of all, I think they did a good job of picking up the flag, Joe. There was contact down the field. There's the interception by Justin Durant.
I don't know if he secured that going to the ground. He was going to the ground during the process of the catch. There's not really much there anyway, except the 49ers on the recovery, and it was Crabtree who got on it, get a fresh 1st and 10. Here's the penalty they picked up because the ball was tipped. There's the hit, and it was Tyrone Crawford who got the hit on Kaepernick. And they're still now having a discussion with Jason Garrett about the call. He's looking up at the board, and he wants Terry McCauley
is under review.
He wants Terry McCauley to give that a look, and they will. So we'll sort it out, as will Terry McCauley. And the group back in New York will get the call when we return to Arlington in a 28-3 game.
After review, the defensive player lost control of the ball when he hit the ground, going to the ground. By rule, his pass is incomplete. It'll be 3rd and 10 for San Francisco on the 47-yard line. Please set the game clock to 7 minutes, 38 seconds.
Well, Jim's going crazy, but that's the right call. We checked in with Mike Pereira. The interception by Durant doesn't stand, so it's just an incomplete pass. You go back to the previous line of scrimmage, which is the 47. and it's 3rd down and 10. So because of the review, which happened because it was a turnover, not a challenge,
Right.
instead of 1st and 10 from around the 42, it's going to be 3rd and 10 for San Francisco from the 47.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Jim's so upset about. It was, it was the right call, and I think he's still upset that they picked up the flag. But whether they picked up the flag because of the ball coming out on the sack, or I don't think there was illegal contact anyway. The defender was in position, but it's nothing more than an incomplete pass.
So now 3rd down and 10. But the 49ers up by 25.
First six. First six.
Kaepernick fires, pass incomplete. It's 4th down. Looking for Brandon Lloyd. And time for the 49ers to punt.
It's a good job in the zone coverage of the Cowboys getting underneath that throw. Kaepernick didn't have much of a chance to try to complete that pass, and so a big 3rd and 10 for Dallas, trying to get as many opportunities as they can back to their offense, is able to get off the field here.
So Lee will punt it. Dwayne Harris muffed the last opportunity he had, waiting back around the 10. End over end. Harris will receive it on a fair catch at the 12. So the Cowboys will take over. They need to get down the field and make something happen. 49ers, all San Francisco so far.
This game on Fox is sponsored by Nissan. Innovation that excites.
So the mad dash once the gates open here in Arlington. Cowboys medical staff working on the left arm of Dez Bryant, so a rookie Devin Street is in there. And they start this drive with a run. DeMarco Murray's had a nice day. Still going out across the 25. Brought down by McDonald after a carry of 15 yards. And Dez Bryant back in there for Dallas.
Pretty impressive job right there by this offensive line, and then DeMarco Murray keeping the play alive. You see the rookie there, Zach Martin, he pulls, leads the way. DeMarco Murray just keeps it going. I just keep feeding him the ball and see what happens on this drive.
And now Bryant back on the sideline. So he came to the field and then went back out. This one's tipped, incomplete. Devin Street, the rookie, a 5th-round pick out of Pitt, is out there for Dez Bryant, and the job gets that much harder for Tony Romo if he doesn't have number 88 out there. And now it looks like Bryant's going to walk off the field.
And we saw him working on him, and then he came out and he's heading in. It didn't look like it was anything that would keep him from playing. Hard to tell.
On 2nd and 10, Romo in trouble. Justin Smith's got his second. Career sack number 84 as he swallows up Romo, a loss of 11.
Well, Zach Martin and Doug Free, they don't see the twist here. And you got Justin Smith comes around, Free sees it late, but pretty interesting play calling by Scott Linehan, and I understand what the score is, but you open up on 1st down, you get the big gain by DeMarco Murray, and then 2 consecutive passes, and now you're staring at 3rd and long. And I don't know, the way DeMarco Murray has run the ball, I think I'd give him a few more opportunities than they have.
6 tackles, 2 sacks for Justin Smith. The other part of that twist up front was Aaron Lynch, the rookie from South Florida. 6'6", 270. Romo with a flag down, incomplete for Murray, but if this is against the defense, it'll be an automatic 1st down.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact, defense number 33, 5-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
And it is. I said 33, there is no 33, but there was illegal contact downfield, which we saw. It's 43, Craig Dahl with that little shove. That's what drew the flag.
Wow. I don't think they're going to be real happy about that call back in New York.
Dahl's not. So he comes out. And that just gives a free set of downs to Tony Romo. Delayed handoff Murray. Nothing there this time. Well played up front by San Francisco. Let's go to Joel Klatt standing by with a game break.
All right, thanks, Joe. Back to Tampa Bay. Remember Cam Newton out of this ball game with a rib injury. Derek Anderson, though, goes to the rookie, Kelvin Benjamin from Florida State. His first touchdown, 26 yards, 17-0. Joe, Troy, and Aaron.
All right, Derek Anderson may make himself some money playing in place of the injured Cam Newton. There's a catch by the rookie, first in the NFL career of Devin Street, and that's good for a first down. He's a big body, 6'3", 200, playing in place of the injured Dez Bryant.
Yeah, that makes things a little bit easier for the San Francisco defense without Dez Bryant on the field, and they don't have to focus as much attention over to him. But Devin Street taking his place.
On first down, pass is too high for Street. Had him, but Romo too high. By the way, Tremaine Brock, we heard Aaron Andrews say he left with a toe injury. He is available to come back in for San Francisco if they need him later on today.
Yeah, it's interesting considering how young they are on the back end, that if Brock were available and yet he's not playing. So it tells you that, you know, it's an injury that they prefer to let rest. But if he has to go in, then he can and be a body out there. But you can see that Romo hasn't had a lot of reps with Devin Street, particularly on that last play.
On 2nd and 10, pass to Beasley. Flag is thrown. Beasley is wrapped up near the 40, but a flag down.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Offense number 70. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
And they get the rookie, Zach Martin. Let's find out more about Dez Bryant. Here's Aaron Andrews.
Cowboys just saying it's dehydration, Joe, and they're expecting him to return.
Interesting, as they were working on his left arm, like his forearm is cramping, or
yeah, it didn't look like much, did it, when they were working on his arm? But that's a hard one to imagine that it would be dehydration here. You know, of course, they haven't played an entire game, but Dez Bryant is about as well conditioned an athlete as there is on this team.
2nd and 20 now. Gets around Wilhoit and crosses the 35 on 2nd and 20, a gain of 13.
It's a good job by Tony Romo. They're playing coverage, they're playing deep, they're dropping underneath the intermediate deep throws, and take what's there, and he dumps it off to DeMarco Murray, and he's done a nice job running the football, breaking tackles, and he breaks some tackles there on the completion.
57, hey.
Third down and 7. Over the middle, pass is broken up and well covered downfield. A flag is down by the rookie Jimmy Ward. Beasley, the intended receiver.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact, defense, number 45, number 25, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's against Jimmy Ward, who made the play on Beasley downfield.
You take a look at it and see you cannot hit the receiver after 5 yards. It was just enough when he's coming around. They see that there's contact. Was Beasley's trying to take it to the middle of the field. Didn't look like a lot. I didn't think the first one looked like a lot either.
2 on this drive. First one by Dahl, this one by Ward. On first down, it's Murray. Scuda can't bring him down. But well played. Justin Smith out there and Antoine Bethea, a loss of 2.
Those are the kinds of runs I used to see Barry Sanders make. He'd break about 5 or 6 tackles on a run and not have anything to show for it. DeMarco Murray, who kept the play alive but loses yardage.
There have been 4 illegal contact calls or hands to the face in this game. Get used to those calls during 2014 in the NFL. Romo is set, and it's Ahmad Brooks. Scooter was there as well, and a loss of 6.
Well, Tyron Smith, their Pro Bowl tackle, he's one-on-one with Ahmad Brooks. You can see that Tyron Smith just gets tangled up there, tries to stick his leg out to slow him down, and Ahmad Brooks with the inside rush has a straight line on Tony Romo.
Romo got sacked 3 times in the one preseason start he made. Coming off his second back surgery, the last one 8 months ago, for getting hurt in week 16 at Washington last year. Wincing after that hit, who would, back surgery or not. Romo looking for somewhere to go. He's going to go down the middle. And it's Harris down near the 10.
Well, you see Dwayne Harris, he's on the deep post. This is another throw that's late. And typically bad things happen. Cox is in a position, but he just is unable to make a play on the ball. Harris is able to. And so a big completion for Dallas, putting them down here in a position now to come away with points.
It's like slow motion happening. 56 yards to Dwayne Harris to the 11. And the longest play of this game. Harris and Romo not on the same page. It stops the clock with 1:20 left, third quarter.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, this drive has taken some time off the clock. But they get the big play, and that's what they desperately needed. They're going to need a lot more, regardless of what happens on this drive, to get back into this game.
First-year play caller Scott Linehan. 2nd and 10. Romo underneath, the rookie. He's down to the 2. It's Devin Street. It will be 3rd down and less than a yard.
Well, this is 2-down territory for Dallas. I mean, they're gonna go for it even if they fail to make it here on 3rd down.
Des Bryant back out of the dressing room. Checks in with Garrett. 3rd and 1. The same page with Terrence Williams.
No, that's the throw, Joe, that you see so many times between Romo and Des Bryant. Des obviously not on the field. Terrence Williams, doesn't get the check or whatever communication that they have between the two of them. But we've seen this throw between Romo and Bryant many, many times. When Bryant's able to come back off of that and make a play on the ball, you're throwing it towards the front pylon. But Williams, just probably something that the two of them haven't worked on as much.
Play clock is at 12. 4th down and 1. That's Dez. Murray is going to score. Touchdown.
I like the call by Scott Linehan. I think it shows confidence in the job that this offensive line has done throughout this game on a critical 4th down to hand it to DeMarco Murray and trust that he's going to be able to pick it up and that the line's going to do their job and they get the touchdown.
2-yard touchdown run to DeMarco Murray. He's been a bright spot. 22 carries, 118 yards in a 28-10 game. Well, they got the big one to Dwayne Harris. It set him up, but a long way to go for the Dallas Cowboys. 49ers leading by 18. For the Cowboys, they get the 7 points. The bad news for Dallas is it took almost 7 minutes The big 56-yarder to Dwayne Harris set it up. Now with 29 seconds left in the third quarter, 49ers getting it back. Michael James will let it go over his head. He's got to get on it and take a knee. The drive will start at the 20. For San Francisco, they got the ball and an 18-point lead here in Texas. Along with our producer Richie Zients, our director Rich Russo, America's Game of the Week, we welcome you back. 29 seconds left, third quarter, first down, San Francisco up 18. Difference in the game right now, the points off turnovers. Pass is caught as Anquan Boldin takes a seat with a gain of 7, and that will likely do it for quarter number 3 here in Arlington. It will. 28-10. That's the score after 3. Fox NFL Sunday will return after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. Fourth quarter coming up. Fourth quarter begins right now. Second down for San Francisco. Worried about the injuries on defense. The suspension to Aldon Smith. They played very well defensively. Offensively, they have made the most of their opportunities. On second down, Gore for the first down, but a flag.
Holding. Offense number 78. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
Third-year pro Joe Looney playing in place of Alex Boone, who was deemed not ready by the 49ers coaching staff.
Well, there's Looney right in the middle of your screen, and they call him with the hold there on Justin Durant, which then eliminates the first down and puts them in second and long. And you know, for the most part, the Cowboys have held up. They've given up a couple long runs in the running game. Outside of those two, they've held up well. So that was a nice run to pick up the first down, only now to have it second and 10.
Opening minute, fourth quarter. Kaepernick throws. He's got his big tight end, and Vernon Davis is wrapped up immediately. A gain of 6. Play made by Sterling Moore, who's one of the backup men in the secondary. Brandon Carr was in on the play as well. So now third down, and for San Francisco needing to convert. So far on third down, they are 5 for 8.
Yeah, you talk about the clock, and you know, with the Cowboys here down 18 points and still 14 minutes left in the game, and so it's a big third down for both sides.
52.
Four men on the rush. Pass is caught. There's Bolden again. He is a machine on third down as he picks up a fresh set of downs and a catch of 9 yards.
Well, there's just no underneath coverage, so you play soft, but then you got Wilcox here, 27, who's not covering anybody. There's nobody in his area. He's got to be that flat defender to make it a more difficult throw for Colin Kaepernick. But Kaepernick saw exactly what he had. He holds the defense with his eyes, comes out and hits the ball to Anquan Boldin for the first down. And I think Colin Kaepernick has really managed this game and has played very, very well here this afternoon.
Third time Bolden's made a third down catch for a first down. Here's Gore. He loses 2. Good play up front. Jeremy Mincy, Nick Hayden. Good push.
The Cowboys, they certainly understand the situation. They're stacking the line, and they're not going to let, as best they can, Frank Gore just pick up yardage and run this clock down. They're going to make them complete passes to pick up first down.
Saw Rod Marinelli, his first year as D coordinator. Monty Kiffin was running this defense a year ago. Second down and 12. Handoff is to Hyde. And Carlos is ripped to the ground after a gain of 5. This October, history will be made as baseball's postseason moves to America's new sports network. Fox Sports 1 is your new home for baseball's National League Division and Championship Series. It all begins this October on Fox Sports 1. Third down and 7.
Two. 50.
Cowboys back out of a blitz. Pass is caught wide open. Vernon Davis. Flag is down, and so is Davis inside the 30. A bust in coverage, but they're going to call it against San Francisco.
Pass interference. Offense number 84. 10-yard penalty. Third down.
See Brandon Lloyd come off the ball, and he doesn't have to do anything. I mean, they get him with the arm, which is, I don't know they really did much there, Joe. It looked like the defender was grabbing him more than anything. The coverage was busted. Vernon Davis, who went to the backfield, got to the flat and was wide open, but I thought it was more on Morris Claiborne grabbing Lloyd than Lloyd with the elbow there at the very end of that play.
It brings up 3rd and 17 and negates a 32-yard completion.
They blew the coverage, Joe. The Cowboys had nobody on Vernon Davis. That had no bearing on what happened on that play.
Where you going? Hey, come on, Ryan, come on. Help him.
Just 3 men on the rush. Kaepernick going to run. Not going to get it. 9 yards shy of a first down. Justin Durant made the play. At some point, we're going to hear from Mike Pereira before the end of this game. It's 4th down right now to talk about what we've seen here in the first week of the regular season after a flag fest during the preseason with all these calls against defensive players. The emphasis on calling offensive pass interference, which we just saw on Brandon Lloyd. It was a big call here in this most recent possession. Lee will punt. Line drive. Harris can't make the clean catch. And a good punt by Andy Lee. Take a break. Cowboys will have it as they trail by 18 with over 10 to play here in Arlington.
Today's Game on Fox is sponsored by McDonald's, official sponsor of the NFL. I'm loving it. By State Farm, pump up your savings with a discount double check today. And by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly.
So much discussion in the preseason about all the illegal contact penalties, the hands to the face calls, the defensive holds, the offensive pass interference. There's Mike Pereira on your screen. What have you seen in this first week of the regular season, Mike?
Well, I'll tell you, there hasn't been as many, but there's still been a lot more than last year. And I think probably your game, Joe, this game kind of has seen the ones that are really, in my mind, marginal. The illegal contact calls where you get slight contact, but it's beyond 5 yards. It's really, there's certainly been an uptick.
Starting from the 9 are the Dallas Cowboys trying to set up a screen, it looked like. He finds DeMarco Murray. And Murray is out of bounds near the 15-yard line. Just to keep you, Mike, for a moment, we just saw a big call against Brandon Lloyd on that last possession by San Francisco. Troy didn't think it was a good call. What did you see from out in L.A.?
Well, you know, I always agree with Troy. Watch this. The receiver's going to try to go to the inside. That's not a pick. And to me, that's not a pick. And you could claim really that the defender grabbed onto him. But, you know, once you get into points of emphasis, you start calling things maybe that are too marginal.
Here's one for Williams. Well covered by the rookie, and the pass incomplete. It dropped, and downfield it was Dante Johnson with Terrence Williams. And just to finish, Mike, Dean Blandino and the league said that all those flags during the preseason, that was not a show, that it would not then calm down during the regular season. Are you buying that as we make our way through the first weekend?
You know, I'm buying it to a degree. If you look in the first 11 games this week, there's been 16 defensive holds. There's been 10 illegal hands to the face and 10 illegal contacts. But you so far in your game, 2 illegal contacts, 3 illegal hands to the face, 1 defensive holding. We're going to see a lot more penalties than we saw last year. But it's not going to be at the rate that it was in the preseason because I think teams will adjust.
Mike, thanks. Tony Romo in the offense. Just made it 3rd and 8 with a delay of game, but now I think in officials coming off the sideline saying that Jason Garrett may have called a timeout. We'll get the call.
Prior to the clock expiring, Dallas calls its first charge timeout. There is
So the play clock expired, but the sideline called a timeout. So it'll be 3rd down and 3 for the Cowboys, down 18 when we come back. Tony Romo and the Cowboys facing a 3rd down and 3. 4 for 7 on 3rd down in this game. Pass is too high for Beasley, and it's 4th down. As that throw got away from Tony Romo, and the punt team comes on for Dallas.
You see Tony in the pocket. He had to shuffle, and he sees Beasley, but he just isn't able to get his feet underneath him to where he can make an accurate throw. Beasley has an opportunity there in the middle. There's nobody out in front of him. The 49ers were playing zone coverage, and Romo hasn't been as sharp as what we're used to seeing him, but you got to give this 49er defense and secondary some credit. They've been depleted. They've got young players, and they've held up between Bryant and Witten combined. Just 3 receptions amongst those 2 guys.
Ellington, the rookie, makes the catch on the move. Gets around one guy and is knocked out of bounds near the 40. And so here in the 4th quarter, under 10 to go. It's an 18-point game, Joe and Troy. And so now San Francisco. I mean, you look at a game like this that's been lopsided. You think about it from the Dallas side. San Francisco has taken advantage of just about everything they've been given and made their own breaks here in this game.
Well, they have. I mean, we talked about it in the first half and the way that the Cowboys, they had the turnovers and stuff, but I'll give the 49ers some credit here. It is a different defense. We talked about that coming in. It's not the same defensive group, certainly, than the one that even started the game, with the secondary. They've done a nice job against a really explosive offense. But as I mentioned just a moment ago, Tony Romo hasn't been the quarterback that we've seen from him before.
Here's Gore. Nice run by Frank Gore as he picks up 6. Brandon Carr on the stop. And just to go back to what you said about Kaepernick, after all the questions during the preseason and no touchdowns being scored by the first unit, Kaepernick's made some plays in this game.
Well, he's been good. I mean, he's been really good because, there was a bit of a question mark as to not ultimately. I mean, we did their preseason game, and I expected him to have a breakout year this year, but there was nothing to really think that he was going to come out and play as well as he has here today from what we saw in preseason, but he's been really good.
Here's Hyde. They trust the rookie. He's electric. And may be a steal in this draft for San Francisco's 2nd-round pick out of Ohio State. Gets 15.
Well, you can see, I mean, he's a big guy. Carlos Hyde is 235 pounds, but watch the moves that he has for a guy that size. He's got excellent feet, and that's what Trent Baalke talks about. It's what Greg Roman talks about. He's a different backup running back than the 49ers have had. They've had smaller guys. They had Kendall Hunter, who was a terrific player. But because he's now lost for the season, it gives this guy, Carlos Hyde, an opportunity. And what a pickup he's been.
Over 8.5 yards a carry for Hyde. They're well coached. And the head coach to the 2 coordinators. Here's Gore. Right side. Breaks loose. 1st down. And they've got great scouting and a tremendous general manager. Good thing working for San Francisco. Here is Joel Klatt, the game break.
All right, Joe, back to Tampa Bay. 10-point game. Josh McCown leading the Bucs down the field. He finds Bobby Rainey on 3rd and goal. 6 yards, makes it a 3-point game. 2-minute warning. Carolina with the ball and the lead, 17-14.
Good game there, and Lovie Smith's debut and his return to Tampa Bay. Now the head coach.
Lovie Smith's got him shooting the cannons again there in Tampa.
1st down, San Francisco. Here's Hyde. He's just got a lean about him where he just looks like even if there's not much there, he's going to make something positive happen, and that's how it's always been with Frank Gore.
Well, yeah, in fact, he says that if you ask him who he runs like, he would tell you Frank Gore. That's a pretty good guy to certainly emulate. And Frank Gore, even Greg Roman said last year we just leaned on him too much. He got the hot hand and we went with him, but every year we talk to them. They want to pull back the workload on Frank Gore. He's just so valuable and too good. It's hard not to give the ball to Frank Gore.
Here he is. Nice play. And that's McClain. Let's go down to the field and Aaron Andrews.
Some updates on the Cowboys defense for you guys. Justin Durant, questionable right groin injury, and I'm watching Barry Church right now get work done on his right calf. So frustration mounting here, and so are the injuries.
Yeah, the injuries to an already thin defense. Turnovers the story of this game, but now injuries with Church and Durant. Third down for San Francisco as they lead it by 18. All 6 plays in this drive have been runs. And it's Carlos Hyde again, short of a first down, got 3. Fourth down coming up.
Yeah, you saw where the 49ers were on the field and third down there, and they still run the ball with Frank Gore and take time off the clock. They're in field goal range. Try to add 3 more points to this lead, but take the clock down as far as they can.
37-yard attempt by the guy Michael Crabtree calls OG for old guy. Phil Dawson. 39, 16th year in the NFL.
I call you.
From 37, OG just yanked it. And it's still an 18-point game with about 5.5 to go here in Arlington. Cowboys will take over.
Game is sponsored by Visa Checkout, the easier way to pay online.
History lesson, Troy. Late 1960 and 61, former 49ers head coach Red Hickey ran the shotgun offense, which he created. He drafted Billy Kilmer out of UCLA, who at the time was a single-wing tailback. His offenses ran through the tailback. He comes to Dallas in 1975 while Hickey was a scout for the Cowboys. Tom Landry's team began using the shotgun formation, which was successful, has been a staple in the NFL ever since. Its roots go back. The former 49er head coach, Red Hickey. First down for Dallas with the ball at their own 27.
You see Tony Romo in the shotgun.
And underneath, he finds Des Bryant. And Bryant not downfield, but over the middle and underneath, makes the catch, gets 10 and a first down.
You know, back then, Joe, there was just, the Cowboys, and then as we moved through the years, a handful of teams here and there would run any plays out of shotgun. There for the longest time when I was playing, we never ran shotgun. You rarely see anybody take a snap from under the center.
Romo, Murray. An 18-point game. DeMarco Murray on first down gets 5, but 5 minutes left and counting, and only 2 timeouts for the Dallas Cowboys, who will look back on this game at 4 first-half turnovers that dug the hole they couldn't climb out of, and watch the 49ers throw dirt on them all afternoon. 2nd and 5. Romo in trouble. Vintage Romo, and Witten can't make a one-handed grab.
Well, a couple things, Joe. I said it during the week. I think as an offense, you've always got to be a little careful when you start talking so much about the defense, or when people start worrying so much about the defense, and that, then offensively you're going to do this, because no one would have thought the Cowboys offensively would have had the turnovers and done the things that they've done in this ball game. And overall, as I said, for a defense that's just been pretty depleted, the Cowboys, and not a lot of expectations for them. Overall, they held up okay, but this offense just dug a hole that they just couldn't get out of.
Now 3rd down and 5. Figure to be 2 down territory, and that's just the 2nd catch of the game for Jason Witten. To all the fantasy owners, he had 1 catch for 7 yards, now has 2 for 14 on the day.
The other thing is, we talked about this week was the first time Romo had practiced 3 consecutive days. Well, now he's gone through an entire ball game. You just wonder, how he's going to feel next week coming off of this game.
Here's Bryant. He almost got away from Jimmy Ward, but the rookie held on. 19-yard completion, and the ball is inside the 35 to the 31. Clock continues to move. Bryant ready to go. He jogs down the field, and the pass is for Witten, incomplete. And I think Des Bryant's going to check out. He's not right. Or he's worn out and still dehydrated, because he was, in a time when they need him, just coasting down the field.
Yeah, just you know, for him to be dehydrated, that surprises me. You know, I mean, used to back at the old stadium, it was so hot and humid, but here in this dome, it's, you know, it's not that hot. They practice out in Southern California where the climate is good, but as I said, he's one of the, if not the best conditioned athlete on this team, so I'm surprised by that one.
On second down, Romo steps up, finds Beasley, who's to the 21. Brought down by Patrick Willis with under 3.5 to go. A 10-yard catch and run and a first down.
Yeah, right now San Francisco, I mean, as we've seen, they're just trying to keep from giving up the quick score. They'll allow these underneath throws and then make tackles and just use the clock to their advantage.
Bryant back in the lineup. Romo is going to slide, flag down on the play. See who the call's against. Tony Jarrett-Eddy was applying pressure, looks like against Dallas.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Offense number 77, leg whip. 15-yard penalty, first down.
So a leg whip call against Tyron Smith.
Yeah, we saw it a little bit earlier that, you know, he wasn't successful trying it, but they didn't get the call either when Ahmad Brooks was able to get the sack there on Romo, and this time he's right here.
And he got the left thigh of Dan Skuta.
Yeah, a little different situation there from the one I was talking about earlier.
Now first down, Romo has Williams. Williams is down to the 15.
Pretty remarkable, though, Joe, when you think about it, coming in with the young corners, and then those two guys go down, and you've got Parrish Cox and the rookie Dante Johnson, and they weren't able to exploit that any more than they were able to in this game.
Here's Beasley. He gets dumped at the 2 by Antoine Bethea, and a lot of that has to do with the brilliant coaching of Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator.
He's outstanding. I mean, he came in pretty optimistic, you know, even with the changes. I think he was excited about a lot of these young players. It's going to have a different look than we've seen, as we've talked about, but Vic Fangio is as good a coordinator defensively as there is in all of football.
Timeout is taken by San Francisco. There's Vic. And because of the success and the postseason success, it makes it harder for the coordinators and the assistant coaches to get an opportunity to at least interview for head coaching jobs. He's not alone. I mean, you got Fangio on the defense and Greg Roman, who is as smart as you're going to find on the offensive side. Jim Harbaugh's got a great staff.
Great staff, and those two guys were with him at Stanford. Of course, Vic Fangio, a longtime coach in the NFL before he went to Stanford that one season. But yeah, this team is extremely well coached. You see it each and every week. They do a terrific job, and because they've been so successful, as you said, unfortunately for those two, they've lost out on some opportunities to go out and run their own programs.
Jimmy Ward comes out. Tremaine Brock is back in. That's good news for the 49ers. And now with a stopped clock on the timeout or the injury, they wind it, and we're at the 2-minute warning. Here in Arlington, first and goal for Dallas when we come back. That Utopia is going to be a fun show. It starts tonight. And reading about it as the season winds on, viewers actually get a chance to potentially be a part of the show. They've already had controversy. It begins tonight. The OT is following this game broadcast in what is now an 18-point game. Tony Romo and the Cowboys have a first and goal at the 2. That's thrown away in the direction of Gavin Escobar, who was not a factor in this game. And Romo took a hit at the end of that play.
Yeah, he does. And, you know, I mentioned earlier the protection to start this game was pretty good. We've seen Romo now having to move around. He's taken a few more hits. He takes a hit here on this play. And that's what I say. I mean, when the adrenaline's flowing and everything else, your back feels good. I've been through it, but it's going to be real interesting after having now been through an entire game in how he's able to respond and come back. That's going to be the real test as to where he's at.
They're at Tennessee next week. Touchdown, Williams. Working on the rookie Dante Johnson to make it a tighter game with no doubt an onside kick to follow.
Well, they clear out. They got Terrence Williams just coming underneath the two outside routes or inside routes, and it's just a foot race and an easy touchdown there for Terrence Williams. But a lot of yards on that drive, and for Dallas, of course, San Francisco just playing soft and not trying to give up the big play. So essentially they did their part in making Dallas take time off the clock to come away with this points.
Flags are thrown.
Start offense, number 70, 5-yard penalty. Try from the 7-yard line.
It took over 58 minutes for that touchdown pass streak to continue for Tony Romo. The extra point will make it an 11-point game. There's Brandon Whedon, who's the backup. I don't think the Cowboys are set up as well as they were the previous 2 years when the team had Kyle Orton as their backup. He's now in Buffalo. Romo takes a seat. Onside kick when we come back. It's an 11-point game, and the Hands team is out there for the 49ers. Bailey will kick it. He's 2 for 7. Trying to be successful on an onside kick attempt. That's what's expected. With a minute 52 remaining, and now San Francisco will spend one of their 2 timeouts to talk about it. As we welcome in a new crowd, those of you who were watching, Carolina win on the road at Tampa Bay. Big road win in that NFC South. Inside our broadcast booth, I'm Joe Buck. That's Troy Aikman, Aaron Andrews down on the field. And this was a game, if you're just joining us, that had 4 Cowboy turnovers in the first half. The 49ers have taken those opportunities and run with it. And for all the question marks for San Francisco defensively, offensively, they played well here today.
Yeah, I think they did. I mean, we talked about it that they had struggled coming in offensively. San Francisco had. Again, I don't want to. Colin Kaepernick did a heck of a job. I just think he's played really, really well in managing the game, and at times when you don't want to force something and turn the ball over yourselves offensively and allow Dallas to get back into it. I think he's done that. I think he's made key throws when he's had to make those. And so overall, I mean, anytime you can win on the road, it's big.
That one's right to Bolden, and an easy recovery by Anquan Bolden. 49ers have it with a minute 52 left, up 11. Here's a recap. Third play from scrimmage. DeMarco Murray fumbled it, forced by Scooter. Culliver took it for the touchdown. Then Kaepernick kept the play alive, stayed upright, found Vernon Davis for a juggling touchdown catch. Here's interception number 1. Eric Reed. Here's interception number 2. Actually, touchdown number 2. That was Vernon Davis. We're not going to show all the picks. There were 3 thrown by Tony Romo. Vernon Davis had 2 touchdown catches. There's the day for Romo, below the day for Kaepernick. And that top line, that's hard to overcome in the NFL. 21 points off takeaways. And San Francisco in a position to start 1-0 for the 4th straight time under Jim Harbaugh.
Now, this is a nice win for the 49ers. And I said it at halftime, Joe. I really expected Dallas offensively to come out and get it going. I mean, they've got a lot of weapons. They've got a lot of ways to come at you, and the 49ers hung in there. I mean, they gave up some yardage, but that secondary with young players being asked to come in and play, they did a heck of a job and never allowed Romo to get real comfortable in the pocket. How much that had to do with the 49ers, how much of it had to do with Romo not having played a whole lot in the preseason, I don't know. But the Dallas offense just never really got it going the way that I thought they would at some point in this game.
Dallas will be at Tennessee next week. We'll be there while the 49ers have a home game as they open up Levi's Stadium for the regular season. A beautiful facility in Santa Clara. Take on Chicago. Here is Gore. Give you a look at the schedule for next week. We showed you that the OT presented by Lowe's is coming up after this game. And then the 2-hour season premiere of Utopia next Sunday. You see the Cowboys and Titans, Cardinals, Giants, Lions, Panthers, Saints and Browns, the Seahawks and Chargers late, Rams and Buccaneers. It all starts with the Fox NFL kickoff show at 11 a.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1, followed by Fox NFL Sunday at noon Eastern on Fox. No timeouts left now for Dallas prior to a 3rd and 2 play run by the 49ers. There's the upcoming schedule. As you look at it for Jim Harbaugh's crew, that's how it stacks up early, but they have their home and home with Seattle late in the year when they'll have Aldon Smith back. They hope to have Navarro Bowman back, maybe even Glenn Dorsey. That's a big thing in their schedule, is they're heavy late, but they have reinforcements on the way. Here's Gore, and that's the end of the day.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, if you're in San Francisco, you're thrilled that you're going to get a lot of these guys back. You don't know who you may lose in the process of getting to that game. But pretty interesting by the NFL stacking those games the way that they did late, you know, for two teams that have been so prominent within this conference. That's what is facing the Dallas Cowboys. That's early. 5 of their last 7 games are on the road. 49ers host Seattle on Thanksgiving, November 27th. Then 2 weeks later are at Seattle on December 14th. A bit of a different look to the 49ers with their personnel, but man, they're still good. One of the top teams in the National Football League. There's the rookie Hyde, a nice debut. And Jim Harbaugh now has gone 4-0 in openers. His contract running through next season. People don't expect he'll go in as a lame duck coach next year. Who knows what the future holds for Harbaugh. And this game really not as close as the score would indicate. 49ers dominant today. Harbaugh's club is 1-0. The Cowboys 0-1, 28-17. We'll take a break, come back to Arlington, Texas on the other side on the heels of this win for the 49ers in week 1.